So have you ever been curious about coding, but maybe you just weren't sure where to even start? Well, you're in exactly the right place. Today we're going to pull back the curtain on programming and take a first look at one of the friendliest languages out there, Python.
Yeah, does a screen like this look familiar? For a lot of us, this is what coding looks like, right? Some kind of complex, secret language. It seems really intimidating, but I promise you, the ideas behind it are actually way simpler than you think. Together, we're going to break it all down.
And that's where Python comes in. It just cuts right through all that complexity. You see, Python is designed to look a lot like plain English, which makes it one of the absolute best ways to tell a computer exactly what you want it to do.
Okay, so before we can write a program, we need to know our ingredients. Think of these as the fundamental building blocks of all Python code. Once you get a handle on these, you can start combining them in all sorts of cool and creative ways.
Our very first ingredient is the string. Now, it might sound a little technical, but it's really just the programmer's word for text. Seriously, that's it. Your name, that's a string. This sentence I'm saying, it's a string. In Python, if it's words, letters, or symbols, we just call it a string.
Next up, we've got the integer. And again, this is super simple. It's just any whole number. 5, 100, even -50. As long as there's no decimal point, it's an integer. We use these for all our counting and basic math.
Okay, now this next idea is one of the most important concepts in all of programming, the variable. The absolute best way to think about it is like a labeled box. You can slap a label on a box that says user age, and inside you can put the number 30. A variable is just a named container for a piece of info. The real magic is that you can change what's inside that box anytime you want, which is what makes our program so dynamic.
All right, theory is great and all, but let's actually put it into practice. We have our ingredients. Now it's time to, cook up our very first interactive program. This is where the fun really begins.
So how do we make a program interactive? Well, we use something called a function. And a function is just a reusable command that does one specific thing. In this case, the input function tells the computer, hey, pause for a second and wait for the user to type something. It's how we get information from the outside world into our program. And here it is. Look at that. This is a complete, working program in just 2 lines of code. Its entire job is to ask for your name and then say hello. That's the power of Python right there. Now, let's break down exactly how this little thing works.
Let's walk through it. In step 1, the program uses that input function to ask, what is your name? When you type your answer and hit enter, it takes whatever you wrote and stores it in that labeled box, our variable that we call your_name. Then, in step 2, the print function kicks in. It displays nice to meet you and then just adds whatever text is inside that your_variable right onto the end. Simple, elegant, and totally interactive.
Okay, so now that we can store information, we need tools to actually work with it. In Python, these tools are called operators. They're what we use to do calculations and, really importantly, to make comparisons.
This first set of operators is going to look super familiar. These are just your basic arithmetic operators. You've got the plus sign to add, minus to subtract, the little asterisk for multiplication, and the / for division. It's basically a calculator. Now, our next set of tools are relational operators, and these are absolutely essential for making programs smart. They let us ask the computer true or false questions, like, is 10 greater than 5? Is the password correct? And pay close attention to that double equal sign. That's how you ask, are these two things exactly the same? This is how programs start making decisions all on their own. Okay, we know how to print a basic message, but let's power up our output. There are a few clever little tricks we can use with the print function to get our text looking exactly how we want it.
So Python gives you a few different ways to format your text. That little /n symbol, that creates a new line. Putting a comma between items automatically adds a space for you. And using a plus sign smushes 2 strings right together with no space at all. We call that concatenation. These little details give you so much control over how your program looks.
All right, time for a quick challenge. Let's see if you're thinking like a computer now. Take a look at that first line on the slide. Print 6 times 3. Without actually typing it anywhere, what do you think the final output on the screen is going to be? This, right here, is the core of programming, predicting exactly what your code is going to do.
And that's it. In just the last few minutes, we've completely decoded that complicated-looking screen. You now know the core ingredients, you've got the basic tools, and you've even seen how to build a program that can have a conversation. You have the fundamentals. So the only question left is, what are you going to build first?